Yo YouTube! This is my video for Wednesday the 13th of August, and I've got a few things to update you on. First of all, I am going to a job which I had to win this morning. I didn't have anything booked in for today, and I did manage to get myself up quite early. About 7 o'clock I was up and about looking for work, and there's really nothing local to me. I put some bits on some jobs that are a bit further afield. Mablethorpe was a good job, and Peterborough to Cardiff was a good job, but there wasn't really very much else going on, so I didn't really miss out on anything. And the other thing was, there is a lot of active drivers in my area, and I'm talking about north of Peterborough, so Kings Lynn to Sleaford and Boston and Peterborough. There's a lot. There's probably about 8 or so active drivers, which is a lot for this area because there's not very much work. So I was pretty doubtful I'm going to get any job at all. I could have seen myself sitting there all day not getting a job, but luckily a job came up from Wisbech to Northampton with a shipper that generally gives me the work if I bid on it, provided I don't go too crazy with the price. And thankfully today they did the same thing, they gave me the job. So I'm now driving the 23 miles to Wisbech. It's about 45 minutes drive. I've got to be there for 10 o'clock, so I've got plenty of time. And I'm picking up a single pallet to go 61 loaded miles. And so it's a small van job, and I bid £65, which I think is a fair price, bearing in mind how busy it is in this area with drivers available. And it gets me into an area which should give me a reasonable chance of a job at Northampton. And then I'll see how it goes. Today, the world is my oyster. Right, I've got several things that I wanted to highlight or tell you about, and I'll try and be reasonably swift about them. And I'm noting it because I think they're important. So I've reflected somewhat on my Monday, and I feel that I've learned a lesson from Monday. And the lesson I've learned is, if I'm near to Birmingham or Manchester, I should give myself the option of stopping work for an hour or two and going to see members of my family, and not try and do both things at the same time. Not try and find a job and go and see them. Just keep it separate. So just say, I'm in the area, if they're available I'll come and see you, and if that means I don't do any more work that day and I drive home empty, I'm prepared to accept that. That seems like a way in which I can implement a better work-life balance. And I think that's quite a shift for me, because I've been completely focused on work, which I enjoy doing, to be honest. It's my comfort zone, but I need to just be a bit more mindful about, every so often, just stopping the work, ignoring it, and meeting up with family. Because it's the right thing to do, it's the sort of person I want to be, and it's not going to be the end of the world if I get a bit less money that week. I've survived on less. Right, next point. I've now decided to go to 5 days a week. So my therapy, which is on Tuesday mornings, I've changed that to Saturdays now. And so I'm now basically, fitness-wise, just about able to do 5 days in terms of the workload. And sort of logistics-wise, as in my time, I can now fit in 5 days work, Monday to Friday, which is really good for me because it gives me a lot more scope to earn more money. And therefore, because I'm doing 5 days a week, if I do the odd day where I'm not working for half a day because I'm visiting family, it doesn't matter. So it's all sort of coming into place. Unfortunately, next Tuesday, which is the first day I can sort of implement this, in the morning, quite late on in the morning, about 10 o'clock, I've got a blood test booked, because I booked that in place thinking I was not working. So I have to do the blood test and then try and get a late job that day. And Thursday next week I'm off all day because I've got a consultant appointment. So there will be the odd day during the week where I have to visit the hospital or have appointments. But hopefully most of the time it'll be a 5-day week, which will mean I can earn a bit more money. Right, the next thing I want to talk about was yesterday. I went to have an appointment with my back consultant, or at least the registrar that works for them, and I've got down to the weight that they wanted me to get down to, pretty much. I'm sort of within grams of the weight, less than a kilogram. So I'm hopefully now going to be referred onto their waiting list formally. That needs to be decided by the consultant, and they meet every week to discuss their patients. I've got no reason to think that I won't now go onto that waiting list. And I asked at the end of the appointment how long was the wait, and it was around, they said about 4 months. And I left that meeting quite disappointed. Well, mixed feelings. Mixed as in, positively I got on to the next stage, but it was having to wait for 4 months. So I'm hopeful now that by the end of this year or start of next year, I'll have my back operation. In the meantime, I'm going to try some exercises with my legs to get some strength back into them in preparation for the recovery next year. And I'm just really hopeful that I can get back to some sort of normal mobility. This brings me to my probably final point in this bit of the video. I wanted to talk a bit about a positive mental attitude and what it means for me. I'll give you 2 examples. I think positive mental attitude is sometimes ridiculed and not really understood, and I think it's easy to ridicule some aspects of it. But for me, it's about not always focusing on the bad, trying to see the positive in a situation. And let me give an explanation about how I think about that. When events happen to us, the events that happen in life are neutral. They're not good or bad, positive or negative. It's very much about how we look at it as people, as emotional animals, and we assign the phrases, that's good news, bad news. That's good for me or bad for me. But I think we are very quick as a species to look at the negative, to look at the downside, and we're very good at spotting that, which I suspect is an evolutionary skill to help us survive in environments where there's dangers around. But being a Western civilized country, I don't have that many dangers in my life, so I don't need my mind to be constantly looking at the negatives and protecting me, because it's not working for me. So having a positive attitude to me means when something happens, if I'm thinking it's bad or bad, a negative thing, then just double check, is it really a bad thing? What makes it bad? Is it because I'm thinking it is, or is it actually? And here's an example of one. When I was told about the 4 months waiting, I thought that was a bad news because I had to wait for a long time and I wanted this thing to happen quicker. I got home, or actually on the way home, I was thinking about it. I worked out in my head when that would be. That would be mid-December to mid-January. That's 4 to 5 months. And then I thought, well, actually, that's pretty perfect because that's when it all goes quiet in this job. So actually, I said to myself, if I was to choose when to have my operation, I would choose early January to have it. So actually, the 4 month delay is actually not a negative, it's actually the best scenario, it's a positive. It's so positive. And just that simple way of looking at it, with a bit of logic and a bit of sort of what I might call common sense, that waiting for 4 months isn't the end of the world. It gives me time in the meantime to lose a bit more weight. It gives me time in the meantime to do some exercises to perhaps just get my strength up. And mainly it gives me time to work unhindered for the next 4 months. From August through to early December. Why is that bad in any way, shape or form? So the news itself is just neutral news. We choose to put upon that a positive or negative spin. And I've chosen in this case to put a positive spin on the 4 month wait. That's an example. And the other part of positive mental attitude that I think is about being appreciative, being grateful for things that you have. They're just normal things that you wouldn't. Not everyone has. And I'll give you an example of that. I am so grateful for the mobility I have at the moment, because I'm so close to having no mobility in terms of my legs, and I'm trying to get to a point where I'm back to better mobility so that I can go for walks in the countryside. Now, I used to go for walks in the countryside reasonably often. I used to enjoy it, but it was like, nah, it's alright, gets me out of the house. I should do this, it's alright. You know, some bits of it were nice, but it was all a bit of I could just stay at home and watch TV. And I did not appreciate at the time the fact that I can just walk freely anywhere in the country for quite a long way. You know, the most I walked was about 7 miles. And now that I can't do that, I want to get back to that point where before I was just taking it for granted. So I'm really appreciative, I will be really appreciative of being able to walk properly again. And because I've lost it, and I'll regain it. Now, it's taken me losing the skills of walking to appreciate it, but I don't need to lose things to appreciate them. I appreciate, you know, the benefits I've seen in my therapy. I appreciate the job I do, because it suits me down to the ground. There's many things that I appreciate and I'm grateful for. I always try to make it clear to my partner that I'm grateful for the support they give me in any way. I made a sort of decision to myself to make them feel valued and wanted in the way that I express myself. I don't get it right all the time, but I'm much better than I used to be. So it's about showing gratitude to people around you, as well as being appreciative of things you can and can't do. So that's how I would see having a positive mental attitude. When things happen, don't always think they're bad. Sometimes they can be good. It's just how you think about them, and appreciate things while you have them. The other thing I was going to say, I really appreciate the ability to be able to work still. When I retire, I'll look back to this time of my life and really miss it. I know I will. So even though some days are tough doing this, you know, and we sometimes struggle to make money, I'd much rather be doing this than retiring and looking back and thinking, oh, I wish I could still do that. So I am appreciative of what I can do. So I hope that made some sense. It's something that was in my head and I wanted to express. The thing is, social media can be very, it can jump on phrases and sort of be very harsh. So I wanted to be clear what I meant by positive mental attitude. It's a really useful mindset to have, something I find quite easy to have. It might be that I'm just naturally able to do it. I feel privileged I can think about things in a positive way more often than negative. My first thought is often negative, I must say that. My brain goes negative straight away, but if I'm sort of if I consciously think about something, I can usually make something reasonably positive out of it, without trying too hard. Okay, I'm in a bit of traffic now, so my ETA is 10 o'clock now at the pickup point, which is still it's not late, but it's going to be later than I thought it was going to be. And I shall let you know how my day goes. Cheers. Right, I have picked up my Wisbeach load. Unfortunately, I was about 20 minutes later than I would have hoped to have been because I got stuck in some roadworks. I was only 10 minutes later than 10 o'clock. So it doesn't matter, no one on site cared, and I let the shipper know anyway. But the main reason I'm talking to you about this is I've got a job for tomorrow, and it's with the same shipper, and I wouldn't call it a CX job. I would say it's a job given to me directly. He didn't call me, he texted me and said I put a job on CX, and I said I can do that, and I put a bid on. So I'm really pleased. It's really nice when I get people coming to me directly with work, because it shows a bit of confidence in what I do. So I'm going to make my way to Northampton now. It's about an hour and a half's journey, and I'm going to then find out what it's like today. So I'll let you know. Cheers. So I'm on my way to Kettering to do a pickup of 2 boxes, which is defined as a car job going to Lichfield. It's 60 loaded miles, and I'm 12 miles away from pickup, which is 25 minutes drive. I've got £50 for this job, and I'm grateful for that £50 because I've been sitting outside the delivery point for the last hour and 5 minutes, getting too hot, trying to bid on jobs, and there have been jobs, and they've been going for cheaper than I'm prepared to do for. So I had to bring the prices down, and finally I've got something. I'm on the road. I would usually close my windows during recording a video, but I'm just way too hot and bothered to do that today. So you have to put up with the wind and the traffic noise for now. I'm seriously considering whether I need to be wearing shorts. I mean, I usually wear, as I said before, jeans, and I always wear my Skechers, which are the hard toe caps trainers, I would say, but they're very hot. They're baking my feet, so I really probably need to get some spare shoes just like this to drive in, because this is ridiculous now. I really don't like this heat. It's only 27 degrees Celsius. But sitting in my van for the last hour was horrible. So I end up in Lichfield. Never been there before on a job. I know where it is roughly in the country. There are jobs from Lichfield, I think, sometimes. So I'm just going to get this job done as quickly as possible and hope I get a third job of the day. Yeah, it's been quite hard going. So I'll let you know how it goes. So hot. Hot emoji, steaming emoji, sweating emoji. Dear YouTube, if you would just permit me a moment of moaning time, and then I'll get back to usual service. I am so bloody hot. It's 29 degrees Celsius. I don't have air conditioning in my van. I am lethargic and tired and a bit grumpy about the whole thing. And I want to go home, but I'm not earning enough money. I'm in Lichfield at the moment. Anyway, let's bring that bit to a close. Moan over. I'm looking for a job. It's proving to be onerous at the moment. I'm not in a bad area. I got access to sort of Tamworth, Burton-on-Trent, Lichfield. There's other places. Coventry's not very far away. Wolverhampton. So if I just get, even Nottingham's within an hour. If I just get a little job, get me somewhere near home, then I'll call it a day. But at the moment, I've only made 115 pounds from 2 jobs, so it's not enough. So 2 quick points that I've got on my head. For the first time ever in my life, and probably the last time ever, I took my t-shirt off in public, and I was driving effectively topless along. That's what this is. The weather's done to me. Now that is a very unpleasant sight, and I was quite self-conscious about stopping in traffic. I had my seatbelt on, obviously, to cover up my dignity. Well, cover up one half my dignity at least, and that was it. So that won't happen again. I just had to try it. I also wore my sunglasses, which I very rarely wear at the same time. So I was sunglassed and I was topless. So that is a very different look for me. So in terms of my work, I finished my second drop off at 3:25 in Lichfield. It's now nearly 4:25. There's a trickle of jobs, but a lot of them are for tomorrow, which I can't do because I've already got a job. And a lot of them from this area going across to South Wales or North Wales or northwest, which is completely the opposite direction from where I want to go. I've been on a job going from near me to South Essex, sort of SS, South Essex, sort of South End way. And then I thought I just can't face driving all that way and then driving home. So I'm definitely looking for something that's closer to home, and that's just not happening. It's just not happening at all. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I've just dealt with my car, my van insurance. So I managed to get a deal, very slightly more expensive than last year, but not much. So last year I paid 1,800 and a few pence for goods in transit, hire and reward, and public liability. This year it's £1,830 and a few pence. It's only £30 more. I did make a change in that I reduced my van valuation from 10,000 to 6,000 because it's probably not worth 10,000 now. And so that's all done now. And also I paid for that in one go. A few weeks ago I was thinking about cash flow being a problem, but I've actually managed to earn enough and save enough that I've paid for my van repair, my CX quarterly fee, and my annual insurance all outright, which is what I prefer to do. So I'm happy about that, and now I've got to get some money refunded into my savings for my tax bill in January, and hopefully think about my next van as well at some point. It's not going to be straight away, but I want to start thinking about saving money for it now. Okay, I'm pretty much given up. It's now only about 20 minutes later. I've been on the road for about 10 minutes. I'm just going to head home. It's a 2 hours drive. It does take me via Burton-on-Trent, Derby, Loughborough. So there are possibilities of jobs on the way. But basically, I'm just looking forward to getting home now. Oh, it's too hot. If this is the last video for today, I'll stick the stats on at this point. I'll bring this to a close now. Today has made me rethink my sartorial choices at work, and also my van choice, although that's probably less likely to change. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you're being successful. I hope you choose to find that word for yourselves. I'm back to work tomorrow with a nice, good job to start off with from Boston to Preston. And I'll see you then. Farewell, friends.